Hey, welcome everyone. Good to see you all here. That was Don Solo on YouTube. He came to our workshop and he wrote that song directly after he worked with us. Always inspiring and fantastic when you guys make songs. And actually, he has a pretty cool story because we worked together and directly after he felt inspired and wrote the song about letting go. Right? How perfect. But a really cool and unexpected thing happened with him because not only did he write the song and having a good time, but he sent me a message and he said, hey, this is just the beginning. I was like, okay, great. You know, let's see what happens. And he further came on and told me, hey, Michael, I'm feeling really well. I finally completed a guitar that all I had was the body carrying around with me for 30 years. And so here's the guitar, an unfinished project he's had sitting around for all that time, just waiting to be put together. And within 7 days, he constructed and put this guitar together finally. And I was just so impressed. And he came on a workshop. I think he came on one workshop and then worked with me one session. And, dreams come true. Did I put the next slide? Yeah, and then he put it on his Facebook cover, as I'm sure he was very proud to complete his guitar. How cool, right? So just wanted to share that story with you because, hey, you stick with us, you work with us, and you go through these processes. I'm not sure what great things are going to happen for you after you put this stuff to use and then you go live your life and feel more free and more clear and more able and stronger about yourself. But maybe something like that can happen. So welcome, everyone. We're excited you're here. We had a great workshop yesterday as we delved deep into unlocking your memory, helping you to be able to confront things in your life and give you guys some personalized clearings. Before we get started, it's great to see a lot of you that came back that were working with us yesterday. Does anybody want to share any cognitions or wins from yesterday or things they've noticed? Because sometimes you can come on here and do these clearings and then you leave and a couple hours later things start to soak in or settle and you start to have cognitions or you start to notice that you're doing something different, right? Which happens on a regular basis. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of you had some of those experiences. I'm always eager to hear as you guys progress. Christopher, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, yesterday, I was really great being on the call. Sorry I couldn't have my camera on yesterday, but
Okay.
what one thing strange that happened was I had got up. I was working at night, and I got up in the evening, and some memories were coming up, and I was feeling the need to confront things. And I was like, "That's really weird. Why is never?" And then we get on the call, and you start doing the exercise. It's almost like intuitively, subconsciously, the energy started to work before the call even started. I don't know if
Mm.
that's coincidence or not. But the call when you started remembering, telling us to remember things. Some memories came up of some recent argument I got into with a really good friend of mine, and it was a really hurtful argument on both sides. And as soon as the call was over, I talked to him, and things have already like fixed themselves. Like it just, I can tell things just got so much better, like because of the clearing.
Wow,
Um,
fantastic. That's so great to hear.
That's
I hope I
awesome.
explained it well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not that we did any tapping sequence on that specifically for you, but just the fact of you just bringing things up in your mind, allowing yourself to notice it and see it, and put it aside and allow something to come up, put it aside. You're opening up the channels for the mental mass that has just been sitting there laying dormant to finally flow through. And without doing any procedure specifically on that, you're moving the energy through, right? Doesn't it? Maybe it feels like that, but that's what's happening, right?
Right. One thing I did notice is as the members are coming up yesterday, I started to feel better, but I got a headache. And I think that might be a good thing. That's just the energy, flowing where it needs to be.
Yeah, this will happen. you will have body sensations come up. And that's just, that's happens all the time because we have all these memories that have pains locked inside, and we call these somatics. They become engaged. And how do you get rid of or, get past these pains and things that come up? Well, the process that brings it up is the process that will release it if you just continue going through it, right? How's your head now? Are you okay today?
I feel great.
Great. Good. Just checking in. Good. Yeah. Well, very good. Thank you for sharing. That's a big win. Yeah. Jean, would you like to share? You have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes.
Although I thought Debbie, I thought your hand was up. I'm not sure if the Zoom order changes. But Jean, go ahead.
Yeah. So in my life, I've had like work achievements, a lot of intellectual activity, and also a lot of travel. And those were I'm very adventurous in some ways, but I've kept the emotional stuff in the closet. There's a part of me that just had concluded, well, I couldn't probably deal with this really. And I had a super impactful session with Lotus in January of last year that opened up communication with my family again. But there's still this maybe belief that I became more aware of yesterday that, that emotional shit, I'm not up for really dealing with that. But it's there, just like a bunch of guitars I haven't worked on,
Yeah.
And it's like I hold myself back from creativity and stuff, even with growing in a lot of ways. So I did get a sense of I'm going to let you take me down this path.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's going to be work.
Yeah. Feel free if it does get overwhelming or anything. You can always put your hand up. I'm always here for any of you guys because we are delving into your mind and kind of pulling things out. And not that I'm trying to ask any questions of anything specific that's horrible or anything, but they can come up. And if they do, feel free to raise your hand so I can help and address you and give you an instant clearing on the spot. And it really can be one of the best opportunities ever. So thank you for being willing to try this out and help yourself with this. Yeah.
Thank you for offering this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Very cool. Debbie, would you like to speak?
Yeah, so thank you, Michael, for yesterday. So there was a lot going on, and this morning I went to work, and the very first customer that I had triggered me. He said something about animals, and it did trigger me, but I was able to stand there and just kind of observe him and just very little conversation, got through the transaction, and he left, and I was able to have a really great day. Whereas before I would have been so upset, in a rage, because it had to do with animals and that's my passion. So it was just interesting the way that my day went versus what it would normally have been, that we just I just felt like it was connected to what we did yesterday or last night.
Yeah, that's great. So your ability to kind of have something happen and you think you got over it faster, you didn't hold on to it as much?
Yes.
Or is that how it was?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what a lot of these are designed will help you do is like the questions we had. What can you confront, right? And there's a lot of things I'm sure you can confront, but the fact that you just look at it, okay, next. Okay, this, okay, next. You're getting used to just looking at it, putting it aside, looking at it, putting it aside, instead of I gotta stash this away. Oh, don't look at this yet, right? And that creates a bind, that creates a block, that creates a stop. It's like a bunch of stuff stuck in the drain that you finally are taking it out, and now the water's flowing through, and it's a murky water at first, and then it turns to gray, and then finally it starts to get clear, right? And then that's where we want to get you to, where you're continually flowing, right? There's no more blockages.
Thank you. Yes, Thank you so much.
No, you're so welcome. Thank you for sharing. Faye, your hand was up.
Hello. Yes, thank
Yes.
you so much for the workshop yesterday. And I just will make one observation from this morning where I assist and teach on Saturdays. And my teacher's pretty rough, kind of very harsh. The way the corrections are always useful, but it's always kind of like a little bit putting you down, at the same time, so
Mm.
it was very interesting what I observed because these were just very specific corrections, and I saw that I could see that what had happened was that a space was created between sort of the observer and myself as the subject who was experiencing this, kind of thing that could have caused me to be triggered, like what Debbie was saying, like I could have gotten triggered just by the way the correction was given. But because that space was there, I could see that, okay, I could identify with this negative thing, or I could just see, okay, this is a useful correction and just kind of ignore the part that would be triggering and take the information that was useful. So it's like having this filter, which I think, when that gap is closed and the person is identified, or I'm identified with this experience that's a little bit painful, that's where the problem is. And so that distance between being able to observe myself and not having to identify with the negative part of the experience. I hope that makes sense.
I think I'm catching you here. Yep. You're. It seems like you're a little bit more able to analyze what's going on instead of being stuck inside of the emotion. Is that right? Yeah. That's important. And that's a huge win. And that's what we're going for, where you can look at things. You're still going to experience emotions. You go 100% clear. You're still going to have different types of emotions. If your dog dies, you're going to feel it, But the difference is you don't get stuck in it for weeks or months or years and things like a lot of us do. We get stuck in things. But the fact that you're not emotional with something and you're actually able to control yourself and think about it, that's everything. And that's fantastic. Way to go, Faye. Congratulations. Huge. Yeah. This is so cool to hear how this has actually played out in you guys' lives. Just the quick little exercises we did yesterday. Gregors, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. So, just sharing a little bit some cognition after yesterday reading. So, first, it was amazing, and it was something new, and it's really deep, eye-opening, that for sure. And it was amazing to going through this recall of memories and jumping from next layer to another and another. So what I realized today, I wake up, I had a beautiful wake up, and the day energy was amazing. I hit my gym, and then I had some meetings with people, and the energy was just great. And after that, I went for a park, hit a park, take my notes, and
You went to the
start
what? A barg? What is that?
To the park.
Oh, the park. Okay.
And I start recording the video for my group from YouTube channel. I went for a live, I'm doing live videos, and the shift from yesterday was so profound that my energy, I was feeling different. I was feeling in the zone. I had easy way to recall memories and the story and start sharing the story with the people about like psychic abilities, seeing energy, feeling energy, like hearing energy, all those psychic gifts that we got in DNA. It was amazing that even if I was seeing the comments, like some people like don't believe in things like that, usually I get triggered, like, okay, you don't want to believe me, okay, all right. And I was getting triggered because I experienced it, a lot of people experience it. They have a deep wisdom about spirituality, past lives, memories, And I was like, before I would be triggered, but today I was looking at these comments from this guy and like it wasn't even hitting me at all. And after that, I went for approaching. So I do approaching the streets. I like to go and talk with women and approach in the street. and put
On video,
myself-
you go up to people on video.
No,
Or
no,
just-
I do.
Oh.
I'm not recording the video. of
Oh,
that.
okay.
But I going to putting myself in the social fire
Yeah.
to speak with strange women and go through this experience to build myself.
Speak with women who are strangers.
Strangers, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
And I had the funny thing. I get to the mall and get up on the stairs. And the funny thing was that I noticed some beautiful women there, and I want to approach and talk with them.
Okay. Great.
And the universe is showing me like level up. There was going the kid with a shirt level up. Okay, so I know I gonna approach them, and like I looking around on the left, and I see the stairs that going back down. They are blocked. So there is just the way to level up. Okay, so let me
Okay.
put myself in the social fire and approach the woman. So I went, approached the woman, but she like rejected me. She's busy. She was angry. Okay, but the way that I like handled the rejection, I wasn't even like feeling it at all. Like before I approaching woman, and I was feeling rejection, like, oh, okay, all right, she don't wanna like give me number or something. But this time it was like nothing. And I went out, I approached again, I had a beautiful conversation with the woman, and I feel great and at peace. And that was beautiful experience. So thank you so much for this clearing.
Holy cow! Wow.
The triggers are not
Yeah.
there. There was in the memories before, like what I was like going through yesterday through those recall of the memories, and there was a lot of like
Right.
different kind of feelings with negative emotions attached to the memories. And after release it, the feeling of peace and handling the triggers or something that was triggering me before, it wasn't like today. So thank you so much for that, Michael.
So
It was great.
So when you did recall memories, did they have to do with women or rejection or anything like that?
Yes. My
Okay.
parents had the disco club, and I was growing up actually in the disco club. So I had a lot of like communication with the woman and speaking, a lot of rejection, and there was a lot of memories with that. So
Okay.
different kind of memories with women. So
Yeah.
that was amazing for me. Thank you so
Right.
much.
And isn't it interesting that we didn't really focus on these things, but you guys are having results in all these different areas without really going hardcore deep on, okay, focus on this and tap while you're focusing on like a specific issue, but it's releasing a lot of different areas, right? And now as you look back to the very simple statements I was asking at first, maybe it's like, what are these questions? Should I even be here? Is this even worth my time? And now you're seeing some of the results that are happening. You're realizing, wow, there is obviously something to this. And we're just scratching the surface, right? So thank you for sharing. Very
Yeah, of
cool to
course.
hear about.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Awesome. Relin, you have your
Excellent.
hand up. And I
Excellent,
just
yes.
have to say, I'm just so impressed that you're here and on Zoom and putting your hand up and interacting with us. It's just phenomenal.
Yes, the power of technology to really get everything together. And just as a quick 10-second to let everyone quickly know of feedback, what I do, because I want to memorize things, when Michael shares with me information, so that I don't have the picture benefit of physical sight, so I write down meticulous info on exactly what the physical configuration is, so I can read it later and have a visual aspect. So in addition to the things we talked about yesterday, some 3 interesting things happened. The first one is 2 things were related to the aspect of confronting when we talked about facing something, 3 of them. So one of them was I had a bit of a cold, and honestly, like when we talked about being here or not, I had thought originally yesterday, I don't know if I'm well enough, or maybe I should rest. But then I realized, wait a minute, energy, success, being here, it goes together. If I have a bit of a flu that I picked up, that's actually not a bad. It's actually a better reason an even better reason. And I went and I was gonna take an Advil. I took one today because it feels better. But last night I got this cognition. Now this isn't advice or anything, just for myself personally, that hey, right now what you actually need is to rest. And I just went and rested. I confronted him, like, I'm going to confront the cold. And it was like throwing a punch that Kevin talks about in the basic train. And so I said, I'm just going to confront the cold. Cold is not going to be an issue. I went to bed. I felt rested. I studied for some French, and I was stressed out about the French test a little bit because I'm going to be doing one for my work. Not stressed out because I don't know, but just I don't know the outcome. But I said, hey, I'm going to face this. And I didn't even have to transmute like normal. I just felt better. And what I did was, when I was moving into the French exercises, I was studying my notes and I already knew the material that I was studying. But just to help myself, when I would get to a sentence before I would look at the answer, I would say things to myself like, oh, I remember, I'm using the remembering technique, saying like, oh, I remember when I knew the answer to this, when I learned this stuff before. And it would help me. I didn't necessarily remember the moment when it happened, but what I noticed when I would say things like that, it would often pretty much help me at least always get to the answer. And if I thought I wasn't sure, and then the last thing was I paid attention to my dreams, because you mentioned about how some dream could come up. And long story short, I had a dream. It wasn't a long dream, but right before I woke up this morning, on my phone, someone was calling me. Let's just say it was a particular girl's husband, as it were, at this point. But we didn't really see eye to eye for basic reasons. She was supposed, we never together, but it could have been, it wasn't. Anyway, long story short, I never talked to this guy on the phone in real life, just, had some messaging things that once in a while. Anyway, I remember picking up the phone in the dream and say, oh, hello. Like, I wasn't even like, oh, why is this guy call? I would have, in real life, I would have, why in the world is this guy wanting to talk or call or whatever? And in the dream, I was like, hello. And it was kind of like, okay, whoever it is, whatever, let's talk to this guy. And I woke up and I realized to myself, wait a minute, I had that dream when Michael said you might have a crazy dream. I had a dream just not because I need to talk to the guy. I had that dream specifically so I could have that dream, and in that dream say, hey, let's talk to this guy, even though I don't actually have any real need to. And I woke up because that was the dream. It was meant to release something about whatever that person was. And it was just pretty cool. I didn't really think much of it, but I thought it was pretty cool that happened, because I know that it happened because you mentioned about the dreams that could happen. And that was pretty cool. So yeah, those are my little updates here.
Interesting. And you were able to confront something in your dream more easily than normal, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't even this type of dream. I don't think about this very often. I just remember, like, in normal life, when this guy used to message, it was usually to tell me things that this girl doesn't like about me or whatever, and other differences that we have, and just it generally was for an unpleasant reason, and just to be a little unpleasant. And I never minded talking. It was sometimes kind of entertaining that when we had a challenge or whatever, he were never close or anything. But what I mean is, in a normal situation, yes, it was easier, because in a normal situation, I would have probably, the first thing that would have came to mind was, okay, why in the world? Why is this person talking to me? His last name I Pi, and I would have been like sarcastic. Oh, Mr. 3. His last name was Pi, so I would have said something funny like Mr. 3.14. How are we doing today? Or just something. I wouldn't have been rude, but we didn't see eye. We didn't, because of the situation. So it was definitely easy, because I just said hello. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's calling on the phone. Let's talk. And because I said that in the dream, and I thought it felt, it wasn't a lucid dream, but it felt almost like reality. And I knew when I got up, I'm like, oh, I didn't actually have to talk. So yeah, I would say it confronted it, because now I don't have to think about whatever that person had me think about before.
Okay.
So must be useful.
Very good. So things are moving.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, great. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being with us. I really loved your comment that you made yesterday about we always hear about how when we see someone else with something, it's like a self-projection. I'm sure a lot of us have heard that. Everything we're seeing and feeling and we think about someone else, it's usually a self-projection, right? And we hear that and we can maybe conceptualize that. But you made a comment where now after the questions we did, where we asked questions along the lines, there was something like, what would someone else like to confront, right? And asking questions
yes.
about someone else. And you explained that was like, I was able to experience what it was like to then have that self-projection in a way, instead of just thinking about
Yes.
it, right?
For sure. Instead of just theorizing it, or instead of kind of being in the moment and realizing, oh, people need to work on, I don't know, their intelligence. Oh, well, why am I saying I need to work on my just as a basic thing, right? Or so it definitely was eye-opening, and it realized that I have to really make sure that the way that when I give someone feedback, when it's it has to be something that you want to make sure that it's something you also want to improve on, because if not, you're actually giving yourself that same label, and you're attracting what you're projecting on the other person. Whether what is true about them, it's not about right or wrong. It's about you'll be projecting that same. So if I say, oh, someone needs to be a little bit better at singing, and you feel like, oh, because they don't sing well, then you're projecting, oh, I'm not going to sing well. But person could improve in their singing and do even better. That means, like, if you are wanting to sing, like, I'll sing a little bit better. And just small things like that I have to really, if I may give positive feedback, even when I see room for improvement, I'll improve myself, rather than giving myself that manner of judgment later on, realizing, hey, what was I thinking about?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. It was very eye-opening, because we hear about it, but it's usually in emotional moments when we reflect back. So having that in a live experience, like, oh, I'm doing that right now. Okay, I got this now. I'm doing it right now. I don't have to think about when I was upset that I did that. I am doing it right now in a neutral state of mind. So it was very helpful.
Yeah.
Very deep.
And as we go further, there's going to be a lot more questions like that in different, framed in different ways. So thank you, Relin.
Excellent.
We appreciate you
here.
being here. Thank you for
Glad I could
sharing.
be here.
Minda, you have your hand up. Please share. Great to see you again.
Hi, I'm just kind of fooling around with. I'm new on this Zoom application that I just put in, so
Oh,
excuse
you
me.
like updated it to a different version.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I may
Okay.
just be losing you, but I missed yesterday's, and I'll go back and do the replay. So excuse me for today.
That's fine.
I'll just
So you've been to a good handful of our workshops. It's always been great to have you. And usually, a lot of the times I've been sharing, like, this is the technique I use to clear, and trying to help people learn it. This one's a little bit different because we're doing processing and clearing for all of you. So I'm not really teaching anything. So you're going to be able to just come here and just pick up from where we left off. There's really nothing else to learn from. However, it'd be helpful to go back and watch the other one, because there's a lot of clearings you can get out of it, as you've been seeing people getting results from. So you can
Okay,
start from here. There's no issue with that.
And if I keep moving, it's because I'm adjusting the camera or trying to find where the volume is. So,
Okay. All right. Well, have fun playing with your new setup here.
all right, thank you.
I love the sign you got. You get the live on air in the background. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. So great to hear you guys. So yesterday I shared a little bit about what we're going through and some of the reasons why. And as you've seen, that on our clearing path, and we're focusing on the processing parts, a lot of these are coming from a man who left who was in a secret society, who left the Brotherhood, which, not Kevin, by the way, and he ended up using his intelligence and brilliance and compiling a workable method to go through, and all the things necessary for most people to work on to clear, to go through and get all of the blocks out of your field. And so there's no more irrationality, right? it's like some of you guys are already experiencing, that irrationality is already getting you're already in control of it just after one day of just doing a few scratches on the surface of these techniques. And so the one that we're focusing mostly on, as there's a bunch of different levels here, and there's a little delay on my slides here, is this limit release stage. And this is what we've start to go into. And I kind of want to highlight these on a list just so you can understand them more. After working with hundreds of thousands of people, this system was developed to find out what are the missing blocks and what are the fundamentals. Just like I was saying yesterday, how when I talked to my naturopath friend, he says, yeah, he's having great success with a lot of different health challenges. And he said, what we do is we get a lot of the fundamental things dialed in first. Blood sugar balance, mitochondria energy, hydration, and so forth. Then we can focus on the issue. And so these are those fundamentals that I think everyone should know about. And just you knowing about them is going to put more awareness onto them. And so as you live your life and kind of notice, oh, I have a thing there, it's going to help you get through it better and kind of be aware of it and maybe start to release and clear it just with awareness. And so the first one is just when you're working with clearing, whether with myself or another person, you being able to just be there with yourself and confront the things that come up is a very important thing, right? I've noticed people, when we start to work on things, they start to get fidgety, or they want to leave, or they start to get emotional on things. And that's okay if you have things come up. But as they come up, can you just allow yourself to be there regardless? And just notice it. It's kind of like a meditation. Any of you who do meditation, where you just sit and breathe and just allow yourself to be aware of your breath, or be aware of a sound, or be aware of sensations as they move through your body, right? Or be aware of a candle flame. You're practicing this. But then you're just changing this into, okay, I can just be with everything that's going on with me. Like for me to be here with you, I have to have a very high level of just being here. So no matter if anyone freaks out, or the worst thing comes out, that someone raises their hand and they're crying, right? Or the camera goes down, or the feed goes down, I don't think you guys have ever seen me lose it, right? And so this is something you can practice. I certainly wasn't born like this, but there's exercises you can do, and being aware of it helps a lot. So just being able to be there, and the confronting, as we touched upon yesterday, you notice how that's very important, how that started to release a lot for you guys. The next one is, we also worked with this too, being able to recall and remember your past. Right? Like I talked about my friend yesterday, who I drilled for 2.5 hours after he's gone through the release recall level to see how his memory has been after the last 3 years, and how it was absolutely freaking flawless, to the point where you can ask him, so remember the first time going into your body. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm outside of my body looking at my mom, and my mom has my fetus body in her stomach, and I'm waiting to go in. And there were things to clear around that. But that's what this gets to, right? And we just started to unlock this a little bit, so now you're starting to remember things you haven't thought about in a while, right? So that's very fundamental. Another one, we're going to touch upon this today, is the ability to communicate. And Gene, I think you brought this one up, right? The ability to communicate, which is very fundamentally important, because if you have stops on communication, then that's a stop of energy flow. That's a stop of your memories. That's a stop of allowing yourself to be aware of things about yourself, because you've been abused or chastised or ridiculed, right? Or many things in the past lives, and even in the DNA, that puts stops on your communication, which stops the flow from you being able to deal with things. Another main thing that we go through is being able to solve problems and opening up solution mindedness, which is a very amazing thing to go through. To resolve intentional negative actions that you have done to other people or other people have done to you in order to survive, in order to be accepted, in order to be liked. You know, how many things have you done where you've stolen things or you did something wrong to somebody, right? We could go through, and I'm sure we all have a big list of these things. And how much guilt does that have that holds on in the background, that wears on your ability to see yourself in a good way? You know, once you release those things, you're like, wow, I feel so much better about myself. You know, you confront it in a new unit of time and you get those things out of the mental bank. So helpful. And with those things there's another stop on energy flow, right? To release withholding information and secrets from people, right? What things are you not sharing with individuals that maybe they should know about? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a private life and you can't have your own secrets, but there's a balance there, right? Like, what are you not saying or sharing with a loved one or a business partner or a friend that they should have known about, that you weren't upfront about? And it's just another reason. You have the reasons in order to be liked or survive in some kind of way. And there's always reasons as to why as you go back into the stories. And then once you start to see the reasons, you're like, oh my God, I totally understand myself. I don't feel so bad about it. Okay, I can release that. And when you do these sorts of things, then you start having a friend they haven't talked to in 20 years call you, right? And things actually just naturally get resolved in a magical way, which I think someone today said something very similar, right? And we haven't even got to this yet, right? Very great. The ability to accept change, right? Willingness to accept change. We've heard of that one before, many of us. How important is that one? There's a whole process with that. And what you do is, in all of these, they get to a point where they're all just so resolved. Just like my friend with his memory just being so perfect. All these places get so freed up. Imagine what life is like. And there's another level of clearing beliefs that make you right and others wrong. We did this with Lotus the other day. In weird things that you do that it's almost like a self-sabotage, and almost like you feel righteousness for doing something wrong to someone. Almost like you're looking for help and you're looking for love and I'm searching for the term here. Like a passive-aggressive kind of thing is a good way to put it, right? And we all kind of do those things, to some degree. Or they've been done to us, which equally puts another thing on us, right? And then there's this one, which is what we're going to start with today. And this is, holy cow, powerful. This is going to show you why you have certain behaviors and traits. And holy cow, I'm so excited for this one. To be in your own personality. And this might not seem like something you would think about as something, but it absolutely is. Because if you think about this, when we grew up, we're basically emulating everybody, right? Monkey see, monkey do. That's just how it is, right? And so if you're taking on, you're going to take on things from everywhere anyways, right? But if you're taking on characteristics of your dad or your mom and it's not beneficial to you, or someone on TV, or a teacher, or a friend, or groups of friends, and you live out that behavior as if it's you, and then you try to work on your issue or your challenge or your problem, like with me or someone else, and you're coming from that state of being, it becomes so hard to resolve it because you're not being you. You're being someone else, and you're bringing someone else's stuff to the table. It's very interesting. This is also can be called being in someone's valence, as in a veil. You're in like a different personality, right? I remember when I moved away from home. I used to live in Massachusetts. I used to have a completely different accent, by the way, from Worcester, Massachusetts. And it's just funny because I moved away, and then I went back to like hang out with friends after a year being away, a year or two or so. And I just noticed, like, I went back into like this, I had the same behaviors and the same mannerisms and saying the same phrases as my friends. I'm like, man, I'm not even being myself, right? Who's ever said you're acting just like your father? You're acting just like your mother. You're acting just like somebody, right? You're in someone's valence. You're in someone else's personality traits. And so we become so attached with this, and we create ourselves like this. And so the point is going to be to help you do it in a more conscious fashion instead of this, it's been happening and you just live with it, right? Now, there's positive ones to have, like if you emulate somebody and they're successful and they have something you want, then that's great, right? You want to emulate success and you want to have good role models and you want to be able to take those things on, right? Very much like how Napoleon Hill would have his mental mastermind. If you ever read some of his books where he talks about creating a mental mastermind, having all the successful people he emulates sitting at a table, a conference table, a long conference table. And he has Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison, right? And he goes through and he says, Abraham Lincoln, I love your ability to lead and your values, and I want to take them on, right? That's great. However, the non-beneficial ones are the ones that we're going to look at here today and hopefully release you from. Pretty powerful. Lotus, you went through this not too long ago, and how was that?
Oh my God. I just, it keeps just blowing my mind. It's like the next layer of, it's something my mom has said to me a lot. She's like, you're acting just like your father. And so Michael said, you want to, practice this clearing. And so we started working on it. And I had such a profound state shift where something I had literally just gone and I was doing today, at midway through the clearing, I was like, why am I even where I'm at? Why did I choose to be here? I didn't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else. Like, how did I even end up here? It was like this weird deja vu, like,
right. You picked basically you picked an environment that the person of the personality you were wearing, that's what they would have done. It's not what you would have done. So you actually were doing things that he would have done.
It was so weird.
And then as we clear this, you're like, oh my God, now I'm realizing, like, why am I here? I wouldn't want to be here.
It was so weird. And then I felt, so he finished the clearing and I looked and I felt all this energy moving through my body. And I looked at the camera because we were doing FaceTime, and I literally felt like I was looking at a different person. Like my face literally looked different. And I was like, Michael, I'm a new person. And he was just like, you're good. You're good. It's like it unleashes you. It's like getting to feel what you feel like, which you thought you knew you were feeling, but actually I wasn't. And I feel more at peace. I'm kind of excited. I'm a little bit nervous because I feel like my life looks a little bit different. Like I'm literally looking through new eyes, like a rebirth experience of what am I going to do now? It's pretty exciting. And I told him, I was like, this is one of the most powerful processes you have done with me, maybe ever. Because I thought I was fully myself. I thought I was.
Right.
And today I got to see that there's more. Even more. It's so friggin' liberating. Yeah.
Yeah. When you think you're yourself, but you're not. You know, I scoured through thousands of different processes for you guys, right? And I'm like, what's going to be the best for them? Like, I can go through some of these, and a lot of them, you know, they're meant to be done in certain orders. And but this one is probably one of the most needed, too, because if you're, you know, I'm also doing this for, you know, if any of you are clients of mine or do sessions with me, I want you to go through this because it's going to be easier for us, right? And this is one of those things, because we want you to make sure that you are yourself, you're able to be there, you're able to confront and go through this, right? And so if you're not in your own personality, goodness, it's such a challenge, because now you're working with a suit on and a mask on and acting like somebody else when it's not even you, right? It's not even your own, it's not even you, right? However, you start to take on the traits, and it's interesting. So go ahead. Yeah.
It just started making me think about, what does it really feel like to be myself? And after I got off the call, I live near the ocean, and I was with my doggy, and I went and I sat down near the ocean, and I literally just laid on the earth, and I just felt just this sense of just like peace. And if we didn't have this call, I would have just laid there for like another hour, just reveling in just this sense of just peace, just this sense of being in myself and safe and peaceful and connected. And I'm so grateful because this is like a new beginning. It's a huge gift, and so excited for all of you to have that, because we're so sensitive, like Michael was saying, and we take on so much from other people that we don't even know we've taken on. We're like sponges. And so how much of it is us and how much of it is something else and someone else? And how cool would it be for all of us just to be us and just here?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the objective. Yeah. You to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing. I hope that it helps encourage everyone to increase their awareness to focus here, because it's going to be really powerful.
We did have a question that says, which process were we talking about? Which process did we
Putting you into your own personality. Getting the other personalities that you've taken on and becoming aware of them and becoming yourself. That's the process. Being in your own valence is another term of it. Being you. That's what it really comes down to. So, and I just opened up the chat, so I haven't seen any of it. Yeah.
There's some good questions in there.
Well, let me know if there's any other questions I should answer before we start. Kara says, I definitely have a stop. My throat is physically constricted and shallows my breathing significantly. Well, I wasn't planning on doing a call where, you know, I've done a lot of calls where like, okay, what's the thing you were dealing with and you're clearing it. This isn't really one of those calls. So I'm going to do an initial clearing to help everybody get focused and centered. And I will also tune into you as well to get the release to help you there. Will asked, how do you know which innate abilities a person has? Well, that is meant for a higher level. That is well beyond these ones. first get yourself clear, and then you're probably going to be aware of it. What is meant by all the levels? The clearing path levels that I shared with the chart with many different processes and levels to go through of clearing, of clarity. David had nightmares about vampires and possessions. Wow, interesting. I felt some good releases and had overall good mood. Received some unexpected abundance. All right, we love hearing that. Great, fantastic, and so forth. Okay, so let's begin. All right. All right, so I'm just going to give a couple corrections to help everyone get focused and centered, be able to be here. And this is such a common correction for a lot of people on a regular basis in so many ways. Head squeeze on exhale, focusing on your heart chakra. And reeling, there's two different head squeezes. There's one on the front. There's one on the front where you put your palm on your forehead and the other palm on the back of the head. Doesn't matter which hand, either way. And then you squeeze on either the inhale or the exhale. So this one would be squeezing on exhale. So breath in, not squeezing. And then when you exhale, you squeeze just lightly on your head. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. And then there's the other head squeeze, which is on the sides, like you were doing. Okay. And I would say on the sides if it's that one. Otherwise, the normal one that we usually use is in the front.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, notice how you feel with the desire to focus and be centered with yourself. Tap your ribs. Your chin. Back of the hand. Focus on being aware of yourself, being aware of your mind, aware of how you feel, aware of your thoughts, being able to be aware of your history, your future, your present. Head squeeze, exhale twice with the front. Right hand with the finger knuckles on the left under the collarbone point. While we tap on the back of the hand in between the pinky and ring finger metatarsals. And I want you to focus on the center of your head. And notice if you have any overactive thinking or the monkey mind. Just focusing on the center of your head. Take a nice deep breath in. Halfway out, hold. All the way out. Halfway in. Breathe normally. Okay, very good. Okay. So, we just went into the subject of valences or having other people's personalities. I think we got to kind of explain it to a good way. I think all of you understand that concept, right? We've all acted like people. We've all, even if it's cartoon characters or people in movies. And Lotus says, you're acting like Jim Carrey right now. I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to release that one completely, maybe, but right. So we take on all these different types of personalities and things. So with this exercise, I encourage you to have a pad of paper and a notebook or a pen. I'm sorry. Because you might want to write a couple of these down. Because we're going to ask questions. And I'm going to have you say some of these answers and what some of these people may, and you may want to write them down. Some of you might be able to memorize them as well, but it might be helpful to kind of write them down. When and if you get someone that comes through these answers. Just gonna make sure everyone's got their... I apologize. I meant to say that earlier. Okay. Deep breath in and out. And just think about the concept of other people's personalities and you maybe taking them on, taking on other people's behaviors. The way they talk, the way they speak, what they've said. And I address the subject straight on because there's a lot of reversals on this, which makes it hard to be even aware of. When you focus on the center of your chest, the middle dantian, thinking about behaviors and personalities and traits you have taken on in your life. And do head squeeze on exhale from the front 9 times as you focus on the center of your chest, taking on personality traits and behaviors. Tap your chin. Collarbone. And still keeping yourself on the awareness of traits, personality traits and behaviors and things that you have taken on in a nice general sense. Okay, now you're going to focus on the upper dantian, the center of the head. And do the head squeeze from the front on inhale. Inhale once as you focus on the center of the head. And then tap on the top of the head as you focus on the center of the head. Taking on different types of personality traits and behaviors. And then that same focus, tap on your collarbone. I am always even better at getting over, taking on personality traits and behaviors. I'm always even better at getting over this. Okay. All right, first question. Eyes open or closed? However, it's helpful for you to be able to access information. Think about a time you acted like someone else. It could have been yesterday, a couple of years ago, many years ago. What was the time you acted like someone else? And who were you acting like? Just let it come to mind. Notice it. Good. Go ahead and nod if you've got something. Very good. Very good. Okay, good. Recall another time you acted like someone else. Who were you acting like? Tap your chin. Collarbone. Tap your thumb. Deep breath in and out. Good. Recall another time you acted like someone else. Who were you acting like? Tap your collarbone. I am always over this. Head squeeze, exhale twice. Okay, very good. Okay, next question. Recall a time someone said you were acting like someone else. Can you remember a time when someone said you were acting like somebody? And if nothing comes to mind, that's okay. Just observe. And who did they say you were acting like? And so any of these names are things I would jot down if they seem relevant. And again, collarbone, I am always even better at getting over this. I am always over this. Next, recall another time someone said you were acting like someone else. Who did they say you were acting like? Recall another time someone said you were acting like someone else. Who did they say you were acting like? Are you guys getting answers? Yeah. Very good. Yakov? Not so-so? Okay. Well, we got another one coming. Okay. And so we don't have to go super deep on these, although it's highly beneficial to. But the fact that we get some answers for you and then work with those answers is where it's going to really be. So here's another way we can ask and help you. And see what this answer is. See what pops in your mind next. Who can you, I'm sorry, can you recall a time it wasn't safe to be yourself? Can you recall a time it wasn't safe to be you? Who would it be safe to be? Or who was it safe to be like? It could be a type of person or being like a person. Okay, notice it. Very good. Next. Recall a time it wasn't safe to be yourself. Who was it safe to be like? Okay. Would anybody like to unmute and share? Eileen, go ahead.
So I found myself in so many different scenarios in the past where I picked up the characteristic of being a people pleaser, especially in the past from my parents. And there were so many occasions that I put the preference or the feeling of my past partners way ahead of me to make sure that they're not hurt. But as a result of, the cost of censoring and really just ignoring myself. And these are all coming up to the surface. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. Interesting. Yep. And then I would then ask myself about that. Where did I learn how to people please, or why to people please? Which you may or may not remember or recall, but that might be something to kind of keep in mind. Because there was a time when we were young and we saw dad acted a certain way to get love from mom. And then we're like, oh, well, I can act like that too. And then we do it, and then it works, and mom gives us love. And then we start doing that from that point forward in order to be accepted and have love. Right? Mary Jane, go ahead.
It's really interesting. I had many names
Sure.
come to me, and actually this started this morning. And I had the image, and I'll be really brief, of an image that I saw in home movies, like 8mm home movies from when I was like a toddler, and I'm the youngest of 6. So I'm the baby of the family. And I was with my brothers and sisters in the water near the shore. Actually, they were all in the water, and I thought it looked really fun to join them, and I ran to join them. And as soon as I got there and jumped in all excited, they all ran off to and that image came this morning with this awareness of and it's not the first time it's come to me, but this awareness of always trying to catch up and needing to be like them. I decided I needed to be like every single one of my brothers and sisters, so I kind of took on the balances of all of them, different aspects. And that was something that kind of leapt through my consciousness this morning. So when you first brought this up, I was like, oh wow. And so
Yeah.
and then oddly enough, during this exercise, there were a few names that came up, but really it felt like I'd already, I don't know where I'm at with it, but I'm curious to know if how clear I am, because I feel pretty good, and that I've been consciously letting go of and consciously choosing to coming like into my authentic just being myself. But well, there's always those blind spots. So okay, that's it.
Okay, very good. Hey, so you kind of tuned into what we're about to work on today too, just like I think Christopher, you mentioned. And yes, that is a thing. When we're all in this mastermind,
Yeah.
you guys attend our workshops and you're tuned into this. And I'm sitting here doing massive amounts of studying work and putting together my notes and focusing on this so hardcore. I'm sure you're picking up on that, right? And kind of getting the sense of what we're going to work on, right?
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Very cool. Yakov, did you get any answer?
So I guess as people are sharing, I'm realizing that I was looking for a specific thing to show up or for a way to show up, and more like what was showing up for me was more instances, not like times, but just like remembering people telling me that I was, acting like my father. That was the predominating thing that was coming up, but not like any, like yesterday, I was like having like memories, like
right
where it was, when it was, all that sort of thing. Now it's just like, oh, this person said you're being like your father, or that person said you're being, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
See, I am taking a little bit of a risk here, kind of skipping around this whole process that, ideally everyone would go through, clearing their memories and go through a whole intricate process where it's easy for you to do that. But, I'm kind of skipping around. I know you guys have done a lot of your own works and stuff like that too, so we can definitely help you find something. But yeah, if someone said you were acting like someone else, that's a hint, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when they say that, yeah, go ahead.
No, and just another thing that I'm noticing just in general, like as we're getting more and more into this call, my body is feeling more and more uncomfortable. So I know there's just also a lot of resistance.
Right. Yep. And I did do a test on you after you did that hand motion thing, which was beyond what I was going to do with everybody, but something I can do with you right now. Okay, I want you to focus 90 levels below your root chakra. Okay? And I want you to do the sore spot exercise, which is rubbing on the top of the chest. And I want you to acknowledge the feeling you have right now with some of that resistance or any other feelings that are, I can't get past this, I can't get what I want, or whatever it might be. So even though I feel like I love and accept myself.
Comfortable. I love and accept myself. Although I feel like I'm resisting something that I know is going to be really beneficial to me. I love and accept myself. Even though I'm sweating in places that don't normally sweat, I love and accept myself.
Okay, focus on your crown chakra and do the head squeeze on exhale twice. Okay, so that's your correction there. How you feeling?
A little bit better.
Yeah. So, see how things go now.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Relin, go ahead.
Okay, so to basically the couple of endings that I noticed with those three questions is for a person who that reminded me that I remember just acting like myself once. I remember that one of my coaches, he was a big Bob Dylan fan, so every once in a while when I would speak to him, I would say, "Oh man, it was a nice practice today. Oh, really good." I would talk a little bit like that, and I would think I was just making fun of how he talks, but I realized that if I was doing that often enough just as a joke, there must be a part of him I was enjoying because I didn't have any dislike for the guy or anything. So anyway, that's one. And then for the other two, I noticed for people that say that I act like a person, it was a long time ago, but unfortunately I had an interesting bad habit as a kid when someone had a different maybe he wasn't well, and then until he was well, and we were at a school once that I had gone to, and a friend of mine, this guy would say things, had some kind of symptoms, and he said things randomly like, I want to go to school or whatever, even though it was, the middle of the night and we were in a theater. So I would remember joking about that, even though it wasn't very good. It wasn't the best thing to do. And as the 10-year-old kid, we would joke about that. And now when I say things like, oh, I'm going to go to Kosovo, or I say something randomly, when I used to tell that story, how I used to joke, like, people remind me now, like, are you acting like that person? And the last one that I really surprised myself with was acting, when it wasn't not safe to be like me and when it wasn't safe to be like somebody else. It wasn't that it wasn't fully safe, but it was, I had been accepted to Canada Games as one of the only visual impaired who was in that category of mine, just because there weren't as many competing. I did not feel, at the time, it was 2013, I didn't feel that I had been adequate enough to be accepted, because I didn't practice enough. I didn't do the things that I felt like you should be doing when you're an athlete going to a tournament. So what I did during that week, but the reason why I went, there's two reasons. A, I knew I could do well because of what I learned through Your Wish Is Your Command. And B, at that point I just wanted to go because I knew that my coach put a lot of hard work into it. So I wanted to put enough hard work to make him as proud as I could, even though I knew that he was already proud. I just knew that I wasn't, in my mind, I wasn't for it. So what I found myself doing is the things my coach told me to do, like how to practice. He wasn't my coach at that particular time. He was running parts of the event. I had another trainer with me, but I noticed myself, I would say him things like, okay, his name was Gabe, so he's a good coach. I would say, he used to say to do this, and he used to say to do that. And I found myself almost like not leading my training, but almost doing a lot of things based on, okay, he said to do this, he said this is good, he said that's good. And throughout that week, I was just making my schedule almost the way he would during practice, in hopes that somehow I was going to do better, because I was being him in some indirect way, even though it was actually him that was, it would be even things like, which bus do I go on? I thought I was supposed to go on a different bus, and he wasn't available for another tournament, and I asked him advice about which bus to go on. I could have probably gone on either bus, but for some strange reason, I felt like I'd rather go on the bus that we talked about going on.
Sure. Was he a positive influence on you?
He was the one who, like, if he would ask me, did you do your exercises? I would say yes. He would say, we'll see. Little things like that.
Yeah. So if there's anyone that so this goes for everybody. If you found people who are positive in your life and they're beneficial things, then that's fine. Now, that's not the things that we want to focus on clearing. Maybe you can consciously decide something else if you want to, but the ones that we want to, we want to help you clear from are the ones that are the more negative ones, the ones that are counter to your wellness, right?
Makes sense. So in my case, like the kid that it wasn't a kid anymore, but the person that, that a friend of mine that I've been making fun of back in the early years, back in the 10-year-old self, that might be an example. Okay, yeah, you might want to clear that, because clearly, A, that wasn't good, but B, you don't want to be emulating those things if you were making fun of that, because you're also making fun of yourself, so you want to clear stuff like that.
Right.
As an example.
Yep. It is, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Mary Jane, is your hand up again or still up? Still up. Okay. Okay. Anyone else have questions or want to get clarification? Because now we're going to switch to the next thing is going to be, I want you to pick the one that's the most negative, the one you most want to release, and then we're going to go through that process next. Faye, go ahead.
What's coming up for me is at the moments when I felt it was not safe for me to be myself, I did not take on another personality. I can't find, maybe there is a time, but I could only locate the things that I would do, like run, disassociate, and retreat. So I had techniques, but not mimicking another personality. Foreign.
Okay, then there wouldn't be an answer there. I kind of gave a few different examples to help you guys find them. And you may not necessarily have them in those circumstances, which is fine, you know. But did you get an answer with the other ones?
Yeah, I got some positive answers of people that I would mimic. Yes.
Okay. And any negative ones? Any ones you want to release?
I'll keep looking. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Hamali, welcome back.
Hi, Michael.
Hello.
I think very recently I've had a breakup, and what's happened was like my dad is very short-tempered, and I also have a tendency to feel very angry very quickly. And due to kind of like certain family things that were going on, I kind of picked up those things, and I was I don't know, it just kind of became a part of me. And then I was also behaving in that way, which led to a breakup, which I'm not able to get over. And it's just been very difficult. And there have been situations where I have been myself, but I have not felt safe being myself, because if I just actually be myself, then I'm going to ruin a lot of things because of my short-tempered behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you feel clear on focusing on as your dad as a valence? You know, you really, you know, if you're not sure if on one to focus on, your parents are probably going to be are probably a good option. You know, they're the most common, right?
Yeah.
However, it could be, you know, a lot of different examples. But the dad as a valence, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's a good discovery, right? Yeah, you feel clear on that as a focus?
Yeah, I feel clear on that. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, Alicia, parents are always a great place. Prime relationships. Oh my goodness, right? I mean, if you just focus on clearing your parents and parents' history, holy cow, there's a lot of energy there. Yeah, the Lotus. Can I share the one that you had today?
Yes, yeah.
It was your dad, right?
Yeah.
A lot of energy there, right? And I'm sure it is for most of us. Okay.
It's actually the
Yeah.
full moon tonight.
Oh, that's
and
right. Yeah.
the signs that they're in, one relates to mom and one relates to dad. So this is kind of perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can pick mom or dad or any other ones that came up. So, Mary Jane, go ahead.
Thanks. What about, I mean, can we take on two at a time?
Oh, yeah. You
is
can.
that too ambitious?
I would go one at a time, you know.
Okay.
And if you want, you can watch this replay and then go through it again with a different one.
Brilliant. Yes,
You know?
thank you.
How long are we in? We're about an hour and 24 minutes. So,
Good.
I'd highly encourage that. In fact, we've heard people go through the clearing calls many times and it being beneficial on any of them. Okay. Got a couple other questions. I want to make sure you guys are clear on this before we move on. Can people project onto others? Example, anger. How to deal with that? Absolutely. Yeah, it's someone can curse at you and it can weaken you. However, the place to be is that it doesn't affect you. Here's what it's like. It's like if you don't have any blocks and they project something on you, it just goes through you, right? So to speak. It's like translucent, just nothing hits. But if you got this block of an anger thing that's just floating in your field, and then they throw anger at you and it resonates off of it, then it affects you. But if you don't have that anymore, then it doesn't affect you. If that makes sense. Jane. So, It will affect you if you have it. If that makes sense. Reland says, is the term valence related to how it is discussed in chemistry? I'm not sure how it is discussed in chemistry. Are these components of other people's personalities that are around us similar to how valence are around certain elements? Probably. It sounds like there is a correlation going on there. I see a couple people nodding their heads. Yeah. So, like a veil covers, right? Until you're wearing someone's veil, someone's valence, right? You're looking, like Lotus says, she feels like she's looking through new eyes now, because before she was looking through her dad's eyes, right? And the decisions her dad would make, and the things her dad would say, and the behaviors maybe her dad would do. But now she's more like herself because she took that off, right? And hopefully we can take some of those off of you here today and be helpful for you guys. Great explanation about the blocks and affections. Thank you, Will. Veil as in veil. Yes. All right. Let's get ready. Okay, so I would like you to pick one. If you had a list of them, pick one that's the most negative and the strongest one that you want to release. Is everyone good? Good. All right. All right. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax. All right, with your current focus, please tap on your collarbone, inside eyebrow, head squeeze, exhale twice on the sides. Right, and you're focusing on this person. We're going to loosen up the energy because there probably already is energy on whatever person you guys wrote down anyways. So we're freeing that up right now. So you're thinking about that, releasing this person from your field, basically, right? That's maybe your focus at the moment. Focus on your heart chakra. Head squeeze on exhale 8 times with that focus of that person, of the behaviors and the personality and the traits that you have taken on with this person. Okay. Next side of the eyes. I will always be even better at getting over this. Still focused on the heart chakra. I will always be even better at getting over taking on this person's behaviors. Okay, I'm going to release the reversals that keep you from being yourself in these ways. So if we were to remove these valences and these behaviors and ways of beings in those circumstances, places, and around those people, and you were able to start to be more of yourself, tap your chin. I am able to be myself. Collarbone, I'm always able to be myself. Head squeeze, exhale on the sides once. Tap your chin. Collarbone. Back of the hand. Okay, good. Deep breath in and out. Okay, I'm going to give you a command, and you're going to just say it out loud to yourself, as if I'm in the room with you. And this command is going to be, tell me a way to waste this specific valence. Valence being that personality thing that is being worn. Waste, a way to get rid of, dispose of, remove, right? So as you think about this, tell me a way to waste that specific valence. What would you say to me if I was in the room? Good. Tell me another way to waste that specific valence. And just in case if this is a confusing question, I didn't quite get it the first time either. Who would like to unmute and participate?
I think confrontation in general would be a great approach, something that came to my mind.
Okay. By the way, as I say these commands and ask these questions, there's no wrong answer. Whatever comes to mind is perfect. You just let it out. There's no wrong answer. Eileen, did you want to continue? You just had a comment?
Yes, so the way to let go of all the characteristics that we received is by confronting them, is to have the awareness that we have them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, just the fact that you're becoming aware of it, that could be the big thing, right? Just like I became aware of like how I was with my friends. Like, why am I changing? Like, wait, I don't want to speak like that. I don't want to have this Eastern style accent. I want to speak more clear and speak the way I want to speak. And if you were to listen to videos from me like 15 years ago or 10 years ago, it's like completely different. It's interesting. Just by awareness. So absolutely. And if you want to go through these exercises, they'll be incredibly helpful. Relin, go ahead.
Okay, so the main example that I went with was with that one that I shared, where guy that I would repeat certain, if I really want to go, like, oh, going to Kosovo, let's go to Kosovo, I'm going to go to Kosovo or whatever. And I came to realize a way to release that attitude where it's similar to how that friend that I was making fun of for saying I want to go to school is basically decide, hey, I was saying that, or I came to a realization that saying something a lot of times isn't going to make you further or less from the goal. What it is if you're saying it, it's almost like a reinforcement that it's in my field. Whereas if I'm still focused on it, I know that I can go there when I feel like it, when I want to. I don't have to repeat it, and I can choose to repeat it. But because I already know it's in my field, every time I choose, even though I say it to myself and I sometimes speak it a little bit loudly, I can choose to say, okay, it's not something that I have to stop, but I can choose, okay, yeah, I want to repeat that again, or no, I actually am just going to think about it, so I don't have to repeat that, because I can just think about it instead. So you can do either one, but just coming to that realization that because now I am aware that the vibration is taking place, I know that once I've spoken it once into a command, I no longer have to repeat it to myself, even subconsciously out loud, because I know that it's already there, and whenever I choose to repeat it, I can do so consciously rather than having it play a program in my sort of verbal repetitions, as it were.
Okay, I can respect that. Mary Jane, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a visual of, do you remember Pepto-Bismol? Like you drop it in the glass and it fizzles, like the effervescent.
Alka-Seltzer.
I have this Alka-Seltzer, not Pepto-Bismol, yeah, Alka-Seltzer. The bubbling, or like champagne bubbles, just that valence just sort of dissolving or being cleansed instantaneously out of the space of my being,
Okay. Good.
Yeah, it's a very light, and yeah, it just feels really good to have it just go.
Okay. I was not meaning to go into a whole comment section here because there's a lot more of this to go. So if you guys are still working on it, we're still working on it, actually. I'm looking for someone who wants to I'm going to ask the question and you follow along just like you were before you were muted.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, you want to do it? Okay.
Sure.
Ready. So you have this valence that you're releasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me a way, and what kind of valence was this? Who was this?
Mom.
Mom, good. Tell me a way to waste a mom valence.
I think I'm still getting hung up on that phrasing of the question. So effervescenting it away, it burning away. Is that an acceptable answer?
Can I jump in here?
Sure.
'Cause I did this earlier, and so Mary Jane, how I would insert the word waste into your example of the effervescent Alka-Seltzer as being the valence, to waste it would be to pour that cup out, right? It'd be to waste it. So the question is, how would you waste, right? How would you waste something that you don't need anymore?
Yes, I think I'm not explaining myself well, because it's kind of like, it's like that Alka-Seltzer fizzly stuff is the cleansing through every single cell and fiber of my being instantaneously from the inside out. Does that make sense?
That's a good answer. Yeah, that's perfect.
That's my answer.
Good.
That is my answer right now.
Lois, anything you want to add to that?
Oh, I just was clarifying because I think that people are trying to figure out, well, what is, like, how do you waste something? Like when you first asked me that, I was like, what do you mean waste something? Like, how do you waste something? And then I was thinking about how the issue is what you're wasting, right? So it's kind of like you're seeing your issue as like compost, right? It's like waste. And so the question is, how would you waste this issue you have with your mom or your dad? What does waste even mean? I think
that was my initial question, what I was getting hung up on. So I do appreciate that clarity. That does help, and I think that, and I think the reason why the fizz, like bubbles of light, sort of like from the inside out, feels really good, because it's
beautiful.
It's like it's with respect still to my mom.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no wrong answer. So as long as you know what the word waste means, and there's no hang up on that.
Okay.
There's no.
I wasn't arguing with your description, Mary Jane. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think
just helping with the defining.
Effervescent releasing of your stuck energy is just absolutely gorgeous. I just wanted to, I know I got confused when he was working with me earlier and he said, how would you waste this issue? And I just like, my mind went kind of blank. Like, how do you waste an issue? And I just thought there's some more clarification might help everyone.
That did. I had the same. I was a little bit like, huh? Confused.
And might that be part of
Thank
the
you.
process, too? Right?
Being
to,
a bit confused.
to figure out what that would mean and how to apply it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. We'll continue. Ready?
Uh-huh.
So tell me how you can waste a mum's valence.
Okay, so we're looking for a different answer now, huh?
Exactly. We're getting the flow out. I'm asking you multiple times, and whatever comes to
Like
mind.
flames, like burning up in flames, just
Perfect.
instantly torched. Yeah.
Good. Tell me how to waste a mum's valence.
And by standing in a waterfall.
Good.
Waterfall, yeah, just washing it away.
Perfect. And so everyone, I encourage you to be following along, replacing mom with the one you had. This is a really powerful process. Please take advantage of this. So remember your valence. You're just answering out loud as if I'm there in the room. Tell me a way to waste that valence.
Strike of lightning.
Thank you. Tell me another way to waste that valence.
Exhale it away.
Very good. Does that really waste it away?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
Tell me a way to waste that valence.
Just laughter, inner or outer.
Yeah.
Laughter.
Very good. Tell me a way you can waste that valence.
With a smile.
Very good. Now, what part of that could you be responsible for?
I am confused again.
Good.
What part of all those different means and methods, or can I be responsible for, or what part of the valence?
So, what part of that valence can you be responsible for?
Be responsible for?
Yeah. This is for everybody.
All of it. I mean, I think I'm a little confused again. The choosing to take it on part.
Very good.
Okay.
I'll ask you again. What part of that valence could you be responsible for?
The emotional part.
Very good. What part of that valence can you be responsible for?
The mental process loop part.
Yeah, very good. What other part of that valence could you be responsible for?
The What other part of that valence can I be responsible for?
It's okay if you have no more answers. You've been doing great.
Yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
rank
Very-
on that one.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Now, next question. How can you now see yourself being moving forward?
Just being freely and pretty easily.
Okay. Rub your sore
Yeah.
spots. Just notice how you feel. Okay, very good. Deep breath in and out. Tap your collarbone. How can you see yourself being now moving forward?
Fluidly.
Very good.
Calmly.
Yep, keep tapping the collarbone. You're doing great. How can you see yourself now be moving forward?
Brilliantly.
Very good.
Playfully.
You see how quick her answers are now? Now, is that safe to be like that?
Safely. Yeah. I feel pretty safe when I feel playful. I'm feeling playful. I'm feeling safe. Yeah.
Rub your sore spots. Even though I don't feel 100% safe being like this, I still love and accept myself.
Even though I don't feel 100% safe being like this, I still love and accept myself.
Good. So how can you see yourself being now moving forward?
Unhindered. Forthrightly.
Good. And is that safe?
Pretty. There's like a. There's a slight edge.
Tap your chin. Notice the slight edge. Collarbone. Everyone's doing great. Which, by the way, Reelan, if someone else is working on a thing and we give the command for different types of tapping sequences, you can feel free to tap along with. It's actually very beneficial for everybody, even though if we're working on a specific person.
Yeah, I just try and sort of localize it to the. Interesting enough, I localize it to the example, and then every once in a while, the responses actually, I find, blend into maybe a field, or sometimes I come up with an answer and then the other answer is similar after. So
Okay.
I'm sure there's some convergence going on there.
Great. Okay, Mary Jane, how can you see yourself being now after releasing that valence moving forward?
Lightly,
Lightly. Very good. Is it safe?
buoyantly, buoyant.
Is it safe to be like that?
Feels pretty good. Safe. There might be a little bit of something
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, that's okay to acknowledge. Good. So everyone
Yeah.
else just notice, right? What's the way you want to be moving forward? And is it safe to be like that? Because the safety is what keeps you from, if you don't feel safe being a certain way, you're going to be someone else, right? You're going to act like someone else and so forth. So that safety is important. For us to clear that safety is really, really key. Okay, so you're doing fantastic. Just acknowledging if you feel safe or not. And so, safe feeling what feelings? What did you say?
Buoyant.
Buoyant. Good.
Light might be.
Okay. Tap the top of your head. Safe being light and buoyant, and everyone else feeling safe being the feelings you want to have.
Grounded. Like fully rooted.
Good. Sore spot. Even though I don't feel.
Even though I don't feel totally grounded.
Yeah. Very good. I still love and accept myself. Yeah.
I love and accept me. Completely.
Tap your chin. Inside eyebrow. Under nose. Back of the hand. Chin. Deep breath in and out the nose. Okay, how do you feel?
Much more settled.
Yeah.
Sunken in a good way.
Yeah.
To my being.
See, this is such an amazing process. We're taking the root out of a behavior, right? And then we're replacing it with a different way of beingness and clearing it where it's safe for you to be. This is so powerful. It might be a little challenging if you're not in the hot seat and you're kind of following along with other answers. I understand that. How's everyone doing? Does anybody want help? If you feel like you're not getting it, or you're kind of lost with it or anything, anybody want to raise your hand? Mary Jane, you good?
Yes, thank you so
Jessica,
much.
good. Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you for volunteering. So I really want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to really experience this, because it's really profound. Yakov, go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm following along. Just like I'm just also feeling a lot of resistance on the left side of my body.
Okay.
And it's interesting because like I'll feel this in my body sometimes, but I'll normally feel it in my whole body, and now it's just like all like in my left legs and my left arm. It's just feels like I have congealed blood, if that makes any sense.
Okay. And what does it make it difficult to do?
It's just uncomfortable.
Just uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like it's not a state I'm always in. It's kind of coming and going as we're going through this call, as if there's like a part of me not wanting to release whatever we're working on.
Okay, please close your eyes, and with your eyes closed, look up to the right. Take a deep breath in and hold your breath. And repeat to yourself silently, I release all blocks to right. Exhale, release. Eyes closed, looking straight ahead. Deep breath in, hold. I release all blocks to right with experiencing this process. Hold it. Exhale. If you were still home. Okay. What's it feel like now?
Like slightly different, but not much different.
Good. Tap your collarbones. Ribs. Head squeeze, exhale twice. Okay. You're going to have two fingers on both hands, and you're going to put them on the back of the occiput, where the neck and the head meet in those little corners there, right? The top of the neck, base of the skull. Okay. Close your right eye. Keep your left eye open. Deep breath in, hold. I release all suspicion. I release all suspicion. Repeat and hold. Exhale, release. Okay, you can let go. Do those start to, do they, those two emotions, do they ring with you? Do they make sense? Right? Is this right?
Suspicion, yeah.
I have some suspicion going on.
Oh,
right?
it's interesting. I was, for some reason, hearing right as W-R-I-I-T, and I just went with it, even though it didn't make sense.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I could have spelt it out. We had the release. Okay. How's it now?
Same. Actually, it's a little less in my arm and more in my leg.
Okay. And who is the valence you were working on?
Mother.
That's what I thought. Even though the left side usually has to do with the dad, but I was testing mom. Okay. What about mom?
Being a victim. Hiding. Fearful.
Collarbone, I am always over this. Tap your chin. Ribs. collarbone. Okay, what do you feel now? Or notice?
It's definitely a lot less.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, now you might be ready to go through it again. So you might want to watch the replay, or that's why we have all these levels, because it's like the preliminary things are important. However, we can help get you through it right now to just do it as it comes up too. Yeah.
No, I mean, it makes sense. I'm resisting because today I slept a lot last night, and then today I slept a lot today. So like just from whatever we did yesterday, I know my body is processing a lot.
And ideally, when you do these processes, you kind of have a day in between. So I'm trying to keep it in a way that's light, but give you guys the experiences. And so this whole thing we're juggling. But okay, glad you feel better. Anything else you want to address?
No, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll see what that changes. Very cool. Okay. Anybody else want to share how that went for you? Especially for those of you who did speak or didn't go through audibly with us. Anything you want to share or share your experience, I'm interested to hear. And there's also a couple other releases to really help everyone be themselves more that we're going to go through. Faye, go ahead. Oh, you muted. Okay. Who's that? Kate, go ahead.
Hey, yeah. Hi, this is my first time on a live call.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, but I've been getting some really powerful releases with the previous recordings.
Great.
Hey, and this was a mother valence, and I had a soul mother, and she was my adopting mother, so there weren't really others. So she was like everything. So this is like really big for me. Yeah, so I'm kind of struggling with it being live and being in the group, and the whole thing about her was that she was just a mother, and that was her identity, was as a mother, and that's what I've done. She was not herself. I am not myself. I am a mother, and that's all I've done is mother others.
Yeah.
And Lotus just pointed out that actually midheaven for me is where it's at. Career, I've never really developed out in the world because I've always just been mothering everybody. So.
Yeah. So this is also a topic where you take on like this generality, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels safe to be a kid. It feels safe to be a man. It feels safe to be a boy. It feels safe to be, a certain thing, an authority figure. So you take that on, and that's how I am going to survive in this world and make the best for myself and be the happiest. So for you, it's mother. Okay. And obviously, there's a lot of energy with it, too, as you just think about it. Because as soon as you bring it up, now it's bringing up, well, I didn't develop myself. I didn't do all these things. So I really wouldn't expect you to go through the kind of like this modified, shortened version of it and have a major release, because obviously there's some things to release just as you think about it, right? Yeah. So I encourage everyone here, is there a generality of a way that you've been, right? Like for me, I can think, well, I've been a musician. That's one, right? Or what's something that you've been, that you've held on to and may have hindered you in different ways? I don't know if being a musician is hindering, but I'm just trying to give an example, right? And mother's a huge thing to go through. Recently been doing clearing calls with an expecting mother, and she bought a 10-session package so we could clear everything having to do with birthing and mother and motherhood, and holy cow, did we clear so much amazing things. But now, before she had a crazy fear about having her baby born, and she got to the point where it's like there's nothing else. I mean, like, you still got a couple more sessions left. Like, you can, no, there's nothing else. Like, wow, crazy. But mother, and for you, you got a reversal on mother. Okay, mother in the heart chakra. Okay, focus on mother in the heart chakra. Tap your collarbones. I can always be even better at getting over mother. Right, I'm getting the images of like when people who have been in the military and they kind of wear that for the rest of their lives, right? And it's just, you know, it's great to have pride about what you've done in the past, but when it's just like everything you still keep doing for the rest of your life, it's just like, you know, what's still being held onto there? Okay? Okay, Kate, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm ready to release my mother valence.
I am ready to release my mother valence.
Yeah. How does that feel?
Yeah. I am ready to release my mother valence.
Good. Focus on that in the center of the head and do head squeeze on exhale twice. You can always take that hat off and put that hat back on if you want to, right? Okay, so how do you feel about it now?
Yeah, well, I just realized, there's a lot of good things about that, right?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. But the giving up of myself isn't one of the good bits. So, yeah. That's what I'm hoping to release and move away from. Yeah.
I need to give up myself to be loved. Right, and I can't be myself to be loved. At the core of all this is really where it's getting to.
It is, yeah.
You know, for everybody.
The people pleasing.
Exactly. Okay. When I'm getting the yawns, it's because I'm just honing in on something that has major blocks in density and actually helping to release. Okay, so now I invite everyone to focus on being myself and being loved, right? I can be myself and be loved. When I am myself, I am loved. This is a big one, and we're gonna give this a shot here. What would it be like if you were yourself and you were loved, and everyone loved who you are at your core, who you really are? You're loved. Head squeeze exhale twice on the heart chakra. Feeling loved, being myself. Tap your chin. Focus on the center of the head. Being loved, being yourself. Feeling loved, being yourself. I can be myself and be loved. Head squeeze exhale twice. Focus on the center of the chest. Focus on 7 chakras above your head, called the Godhead chakra. Being myself and loved by all. Sore spot. Even though when I'm myself, I don't feel like I'm loved by all. I know that the universe still loves me. God still loves me. I love and accept myself. Seven chakras up. Same focus. Head squeeze exhale twice from the front. And then head squeeze exhale 5 times from the sides. Okay. It's safe to be myself. It's safe to be myself. Tap your chin. It's safe to be myself. Under the eyes. Side of the eyes. It will always be safe to be myself. It will always be safe to be myself. Collarbone, it is always safe to be myself. It's always safe to be who I am. You can say that in a few different ways. Good. Okay, how you guys doing? I'm feeling it. I don't know how big you guys. Holy cow. That's some pretty profound releases. And a good place to get to, right? Anybody want to share? Ron, go ahead.
One of the folks were mentioning how tired he was in the morning.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about that till you mentioned it. And I've been wiped half the day. And I wanted to sleep, but I had a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Another thing that really, and it didn't even dawn on me until he'd actually mentioned it, but the other thing that really stuck out on my mind was the lady about motherhood. I've had this association with my former work. COVID hit, and we basically, a bunch of us walked, and it's a huge part for me of not my identity, but what I did. And now that whole thing has been shifting in regards to what am I going to do now? And there were a lot of insecurities around it. But it wasn't until the lady was talking about motherhood that it clicked, and I went, oh, okay. But I guess it took a decade to sink in. I don't know.
Right. Awesome. Do you feel better? Or had a realization or a cognition or anything?
No, I was so wiped this morning that I thought I didn't make the connection, and I should have. But it's that, I guess, that state, being in this state, and then here we are doing this work, and I'm feeling it again. So, but this is something that's what really kind of touched base here for me was the realization of how much I've actually associated with my former work. And
okay,
I don't know if there's still some layer of that there or not. I don't know, but I want to move on.
You want to release on that?
Yes.
So think about
please.
this. This is probably, when you have a place of work, you're kind of rooted down. You have a routine. That's where you are. People you associate with, right? This is a root chakra kind of based thing. If you want to think about it like that. So think about this work situation. Focus on your root chakra, and then head squeeze, exhale 9 times with that focus. So we can remove some of that density, allow the energy to flow, where it will be easier to still feel rooted into who you are, regardless of where you work. Okay, what's it like when you think about it now?
Distant.
Distant. How so?
Seems to be a little less in my face.
Yeah, nice.
That makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Okay, continue focusing on your root. So how do you want to feel now moving forward from this?
Free.
And
wide open new territory.
All right.
Yeah.
Think about that. Feel about that. Focus on your root chakra. Tap your ribs. Head squeeze, exhale twice. Okay, free, open, moving territory. Tap your ribs again. Just normally thinking about it, feeling about it. Sore spot. What keeps you from feeling 100% good about that? Even though I still feel what? I love and accept myself.
Even though I feel my life is over, I deeply love and accept myself.
Okay, very good. What else? How does that make you feel?
Even though I feel I have no value, I deeply love and accept myself.
Very good. And what does having no value make you feel like? Even though I feel like what?
Like there's nothing to shoot for.
Okay, even though I feel like there's nothing to shoot for, I still love and accept myself.
Even though I feel like there's nothing to shoot for, I deeply love and accept myself.
Good. Tap the top of your head. Inside eyebrow. Sore spot again. What keeps you from feeling open and free?
Say that again.
What keeps you from feeling open and free like you shared?
A sense of being confined, desiring to stretch my thinking outside the box.
Even though I feel confined.
Even though I can feel confined, I deeply love and accept myself.
It's okay, I feel this way.
It's okay that I feel this way.
Yeah. Okay, how you feel now?
I'm sweating a lot.
Okay, good.
I feel good.
Tap the side of your hands. Okay, there you go. How you doing? Get the thumb emoji. Fantastic. That's I don't know if you meant to put that on there. The thumb emoji went in front of your face there, or right next to your face.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Ron. Thank you for putting your hand up.
From me?
Yes, thank you, Ron. I think there's a little bit of a glitch there. I don't know if it was my internet or yours. Lotus, you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
I actually don't have my hand up.
Oh,
but
I thought you popped over in the hand up square. Okay.
right, yeah, like maybe it's that sun behind me kind of looks like a hand.
Yeah, maybe that's that. So these are some pretty powerful releases, I believe. Hope you guys agree. Hope you guys had a good experience here and kind of opened up to a new level, and we pulled the root out of some behaviors you've had maybe for most of your life, and now feel more secure with you being yourself. Holy cow. Yeah. And we're just scratching the surface. Goodness. What do you think, Lotus?
Okay, I'm ready.
You're ready. For what?
I got
Ready
something
for?
now.
Okay, what do you got?
If everyone's open to this, I know everyone's tired out and tuckered out and cleared out, but
I see some energy.
I think this might be really energizing, actually, if we
What's
do
that?
this.
Okay.
Okay. So I've been studying this full moon, right? And what the energy of the sun is and the moon. And they're in the sign that represents the mother, the sun is, and the moon is a sign that represents the father.
Hmm.
So it's opposite, right?
Wow.
Generally, moon should be mother, sun, father, and they're actually in opposite placement. And so it's a really good time to tap into the roots of where we come from, to tap into mother and father, which is what we've been doing all night, which is just kind of incredible.
Some of us. I don't know if everyone's focused on mom and dad, but it's probably a common one. Yeah.
And then added to this is that little planet Pluto. And Pluto is known as the god of the underworld and represents the deep unconscious and everything that is buried and suppressed and hidden below the surface, which means there could be a lot of pressure pushing up to the surface, buried emotion in the collective, not only in us, but in everyone. And so I wanted to request for all of us if we could do an overall group clearing around the full moon, around the activation of sun to moon, because they're creating this tension. They're polarizing, right? They're pulling and drawing the water of our bodies up. And that Pluto is asking us to go deeper.
So what specifically does this mean? How, if we were to focus on specific elements of our life and become aware of maybe certain feelings, it sounds like a very powerful lineup here.
It is.
How do we dial that in?
Well, we could think about mother, the mothering principle. And we could think about the father principle. And we could think about where do we have blocks between the mother energy and the father energy. So that
there you go.
Yeah. There it is.
And just put them in a room and let them duke it out.
Well, hopefully they'll have more fun than duke it out, right?
Okay. So.
Yes.
Okay, so there's some clues. I'm still not 100% as far as how do we actually focus and what do we become aware of. Arguing issues, Will just said. Okay, yeah, I mean that was one of the things that came to mind.
We could tune into our earliest connection to mother and father. And where do we have blocks around receiving the love and nourishment of our mother and father? So you could think about the baby in the womb. You could think about how mother energy and father energy creates within us. How do we build things as men? How do we nurture as women? So it's like the yin yang principle, but it's relating back to our roots of mother and father. Where do we come from? Right? It's core. Like this is existential full moon that we're in.
Right.
Fairly deep. Yeah. So if you've been feeling it, you know.
So I got a question for everybody here, and maybe you can chime in and answer. What is going on in your life right now that may have to do with that? Because this is the full moon. It just happened, at like 3 o'clock today, right? So
it's happening at 3:17 a.m.
Oh, a.m. Okay.
So we're headed into it.
So we're headed into it. We're prime into it. So with that said, does anything have things happening in their life right now that may remind you of that? Because if it's as strong as it is, like as it always is, then there's going to be examples in our lives playing out somewhere.
Well, one example is Kate talking about motherhood and about her realizing that she's just been being in the mother role, right? And then another is with Ron talking about work and how he has just lost, the masculine identities can be very closely connected to work, right? And what we give. Whereas for women, as the mother, it's what we nourish. So it can be anything in our work, in our career, in our businesses. It can be related to our children and our families. And if there's tension between work and home, if there's tension between family and career, emotion and structure.
Yeah, my brother's having a wedding soon, and my parents are about to come together again as they're divorced, and so there's some tension there. That's an example for me.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other examples that they may have? I'm gonna have to start calling on people.
Yeah.
Minda.
Yeah, I have a question because I do clearing every day for myself.
Yeah, and she has
I
quite
got
amazing results, manifesting $1 million clients and millions of miles with Delta and so many things.
No, but
No, I used to.
redoing this clearing tonight.
Oh,
I was
okay.
wondering why all of a sudden I have this massive headache.
Oh.
And I'm trying to search within myself if something came up that I haven't worked on. And it's just like my head is about to blow.
Okay, do the sore spot, even though it feels like my head's about to blow. I love and accept myself. Go ahead and say it. Even though. Yeah, you're saying it. Good. Keep going. Even though it feels like what?
I feel like a massive headache.
Right. It's okay. I feel like this. Side of the hands. Yeah, you get a lot of density. Tap your collarbone. We're getting through it. Head squeeze, exhale once. As long as it doesn't hurt your head. Head squeeze on exhale once. Not sure if you got that. Minda, you still with us?
Yes.
Do the head squeeze on exhale one time. If it doesn't hurt your head. What would she do if it did hurt her head? You can imagine it. Might take a couple more, but okay. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is it?
I'm thinking
go ahead.
though that something came up that was said, or something like that, because it just came all of a sudden. And I'm trying to make sense of that so I can start working on it.
Ah. Do thoughts and memories just come to you naturally all the time anyways, or do you have to try to figure things out to remember everything?
It depends on the circumstances. When I look at pictures, thoughts come to me, and I immediately go in there and tap them out.
Yeah.
But on this one here, I just couldn't figure that out. And I've been listening and said, why did I get this massive headache all of a sudden? Trying to think back as to when in this session that headache came up.
So is it more important that you release the pain or know where it comes from?
Know where it comes from. That's the only way I can release it too.
It's the
So it
only
won't
way you
come
can
back.
release it. Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, it's almost like you're stuck on an idea. Like you need to know. Why do you need to know so bad? And does that, and consider, does that need to know create more contraction? I need to figure it out. Oh, I still haven't figured it out yet. Oh, I can't find it. Right? I'm dramatizing it, you know, but I would imagine if you release the need to know.
I always like to need to know.
Right, yeah.
But it will probably, dissipate. The only thing is that it's the first time that it happened to me.
Okay. Do the sore spot exercise again, and just, even if I never figured this out, it's okay. Right? We're letting go of the contraction. I've taken tests before where I'm like, man, I heard that answer before. I think I know what that answer is. And I did a tapping sequence, allowing myself to just forget about it, and then I get the answer. You know, when I released the need to know, that's when the answer came.
Yeah, makes sense. But I'm sitting here and that my head is just like...
Yeah.
So
what's more important?
Thought I'll share that.
So what's more important? That you are able to release the headache, or that you need to know?
For me, it's always need to know. I always get to the bottom of it. Because it's in my work, I have to know the root cause.
Well, then there you go. Until you find the root cause, you will have the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a decision to me. I don't want.
I can focus on the pain and make it go away. That's
okay.
for sure.
Okay. So okay. Well, when's the first time you had that pain?
I was feeling great, but somewhere along the line, I just felt it come into me, and I keep thinking, what did something surface, that somebody was talking about, or I was reading something on the chat that I had forgotten, or something that still bothers me?
How about this? So you have a reversal on finding what the answer is. And so think about being able to figure out where it comes from. Left hand knuckle on the right collarbone. Finger knuckles, right collarbone. Tap on the back of the hand. Take a deep breath in. Focus on where this originates from. Halfway out, hold. All the way out, hold. Excuse me. Halfway in, hold. Breathe normally. Tap the top of your head. Thinking about where this comes from. Collarbone. Back of the hand. Keep going. Very good. Collarbone. Back of the hand again. Eyes open. Eyes closed. Eyes open. Look down to the left. Down to the left. There you go. Down to the right. Roll the eyes around in a circle. Up the wall, across the ceiling, down the wall, across the floor. Around the other way. Hum out loud a song. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hum again. Okay, you're going to focus next 344 levels below your root chakra. 344. Get an idea of that. Where this headache comes from. Rub your sore spots. Just feel. Head squeeze, exhale once. Now go up 322 levels below your root chakra. Rub your sore spot again. Notice, feel, relax, allow. Now go to 311. 311 levels below your root chakra. Head squeeze, exhale once. Good. Deep breath in and out. Head squeeze, exhale, focus on the heart chakra. Once. Okay. Minda, how are you doing now?
The pain went away.
Well, there you go. Did you figure out where it came from?
No, I will.
Yeah, well. Oh, good to hear you out of pain. Yeah. I was hoping to get the answer too, but well, you're out of the reversal now, so that's good. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I always like to display those very deep clearings because they're really profound. It puts you into a state that's really like you feel like you're beyond yourself. And Will was asking, 344, is that the record? Something like that. I think it went over. Is that a new record? It's not a new record. We've gone thousands of levels deep. It's quite a thing. It's very interesting. Yeah, Lotus, you released one earlier today. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. Anyhow, there you go. You guys are now more clear than before. May you never be the same. We hope you thoroughly enjoyed tonight's workshop and just getting a small taste of the many things that we can do. So tomorrow we're going to meet again, same place, same time, and we are going to expose another very powerful process that I think and I know you'll also enjoy and get a lot out of. So before we go, Lotus, do you want to share anything?
Yeah, are we going to clear the full moon or what?
Oh, goodness, I totally forgot.
Holy cow.
We're hitting almost 3 hours here.
This shouldn't be too long. I think everyone's primed and ready. We got heads about to explode and
oh, goodness.
Energy is just potent.
So,
you know, if I could define it for everyone just a little
how about
better.
you lead us through it?
Oh, Jesus.
I've been waiting.
Right.
I've been waiting to bring you out and unleash your clearing ability because it's next level. And you know, you obviously have a good idea of what to do here, so I'm gonna hand it over to you for right now. Go ahead.
Thank you. So a lot of what this is tension. This full moon, right? We have the sun in one sign, we have the moon in the other. They're directly opposite. It's like the biggest polarity. So I want you to tune into your life, and where are you feeling the biggest tension? Yeah? Like, where are you feeling the biggest contraction? That's what a full moon brings up to the surface. So whether that's between work and love, whether that's between doing or not doing, tune into where you feel tension. Does anyone feel tension in your body right now? Does anyone feel anything, stuck energy, anything that's like a mass that's intense? That's the full moon pulling it up to the surface. Fantastic. Now I want you to tune into your body and tell me, or tune into yourself and feel, where do you feel that? Where do you feel the tension? That's it. Feel it now. Put a little more attention on it. Feel it grow a little more. What color is there? What color is there? Where is the root of this tension? Where is the root of your tension? Where does it come from? And this full moon is bringing it all up. Bringing it all up to the surface, going into it now. Bringing all that stuff up. You're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to gather your energy. You're going to start rubbing your hands together. You're going to take your focus on the tension inside of you and the tension of your hands rubbing together. Okay? So feel where you have blocked, stuck chi, anything that's still stuck in your body that hasn't been cleared yet from tonight. Feel into it. What color is it? Where is it? Breathe it into it. Rub your hands together. You're creating a magical clearing device. It's like a magnet. It's going to pull up and out any of this old stuck energy. Good. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Woo! By the power of God, connect to your higher self. By the power of source, connect to your highest wisdom. By the power of all that is, tune into the power of all that you are. Tune into the power of God. Tune into the power of source, calling on the powers of heaven to come to all of you tonight. Really engage with this energy. Take a deep breath in. Feel the tension. Feel it more. That tension deep, 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 deep. And then by the power of God, by the power of the creator of all that is, it is commanded that all those blocks, all that stuck energy, all those morasses of energy buried deep in your being that are being pulled to the surface by the power of God, it is commanded that all that stuck energy be allowed to release and clear. We command it to release and clear on the core, on the genetic, on the soul level. We command it to be pulled and resolved on the historical level and released out of all your cells, out of your DNA, at every tissue, living organism, cell in your body, and being allowing all that stuck energy, all that stuck chi to release up and out, up and out, up and out of your heart. Release it, shake it. By the power of God, it is commanded all that stuck, dense chi, allow it to go up to the moon, allow it to release out of your cells, allow it to release out of your heart, your body, and your mind. By the power of God, it is commanded all that stuck, dense chi be allowed to release and clear. We command it to release and clear on the core, on the genetic, on the soul level. We command it to be pulled and resolved on the historical level. Holy moly, and replaced on all levels with the Creator's truth and definition of pure, unconditional love and compassion and the miracle of life. Feel the angels singing, hear the holy trumpets, feel the light flowing into your body and your being by the power of God. It is commanded a complete, pure, unconditional love healing for all of you, seeing the beautiful light of the most pure divine love showering over you, rinsing through your auric field, light from God, rinsing, showering, cleansing, and clearing absolutely every level of your DNA, your auric field, cleansing and clearing through all directions of time and space. Take a nice deep breath in. Woo, woo, and a nice deep breath out. Good. And the power of God, it is commanded a complete unconditional love healing for your DNA, for your lineage, for your ancestors, through your roots, through your cells, through your chakras, your joints, muscles, and bones. By the power of God, it is commanded a complete Pure unconditional love healing for you through all directions of time and space, uniting and bringing you back into inner union with yourself, with your divine essence, now and always. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show us, God, please shower them all with the divine gifts that they're here for. Shower them all. Feel those gifts shower you, coming in for you now, going exactly to where you need it. Feel that energy coming in, filling you up more and more and more and more and more until you feel more grounded, more centered, more whole, more full, feeling more you than you've ever felt before. Deep breath in and out. Turn it on over to you, Michael.
All right. Wow. Whoa.
Thank you, Lotus.
Any cool visuals?
I think I hear an echo happening. Is it my effects? No. Amazing. Thank you, Lotus. That was phenomenal. Always have so many yawns and tears that come out. I don't know what happened, but I feel lighter. And that tension's gone. Wow, interesting. I had a little bit in my lower back.
Did anyone have any cool visuals? I'm always excited.
Well, Relin, he asked blue and green. What does that mean? Blue is usually associated with like depression, feeling blue, the blues kind of music, and green usually is associated with resentment.
They can also be the archangels.
Or that's the negative versions.
Maybe they're both.
Or
maybe it's both. Maybe the rose were first, and then when it was released, because they were there, they were at the end, and I could feel the light at the end. So maybe that's they just moved away, and maybe it turned into grass or growing. So yeah, that's good to know. And yeah.
Woo! Michael, would you be willing to ground everyone? Sometimes when I do these clearings, they can be a lot of energy.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, as a closing clearing here, let's ground you guys out and integrate the shifts that we've gone through today. I get most of you are pretty well grounded. Integrated can use some work. So integrating the shifts that have happened today into your life, they play out like a lot of you did from the last call, right? How would it be if you fully integrated all the shifts you brought in and had today into your life? Focus on 7 chakras above your head, fully integrating the shifts that we had today. Head squeeze, exhale once. Focus on 4 chakras above your head. Head squeeze, exhale twice. Right hand knuckles on the right collarbone point. Tapping on the back of the hand between the pinky and ring finger metatarsals. Finger knuckles on the right collarbone point. So the finger knuckles are touching on your right collarbone and they're just held there while you tap on the back of the hand. Focusing on feeling fully integrated, walking out of this workshop.
On the right track, Michael?
Oh, I'm sorry, what's that?
Am I on the right track? I just
I can't kind of if you can back up a little bit, maybe I can see it.
Certainly. Yeah, middle finger knuckles here, and
so
then tapping
index
with,
and
collarbone.
index and middle finger knuckles on your right collarbone point. Yeah, right on that point, but the knuckles of the fingers are there. And just held onto it, so the knuckles just stay on. Yeah, make that, yeah, exactly like that. And then tapping the back of your hand gamut point at the same time.
Perfect.
Very good, just like that. And now focus on what would it feel like if I was fully integrated from these shifts and they integrated into me and my life and into the future fully. How good will I feel? And as you access that feeling and that way of being, we align you by just breathing normally with that feeling. Or you align yourself, really. Okay, now focus on 7 chakras below your root. One's below your knees, or one's at your knees, one's at your feet, one's below your feet. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fully integrated into yourself with these shifts. Head squeeze, exhale once. You guys are doing great sticking around. We're almost there. Almost home free. And focusing on that same chakra. Tap on the side of your hands. And what does it feel like when your entire being is fully rooted in these positive shifts we went through? Where you feel good being yourself and loved by others. You're in your own personality and your own beingness, and you're becoming more aware of who you are and who you've been, and able to consciously create who you are in a whole new way moving forward. Okay, next focus on the center of your head with this full integration. Rub the sore spots. Even if there's parts of me that doesn't get fully integrated, I still totally and completely love and accept myself. I love and accept myself with who I am and where I'm at, regardless. And there you go. Congratulations. What do you think, Lotus?
There's this one little thing I add sometimes at the very end. It takes 2 seconds.
What do you got?
So we just command that absolutely all of the energetic shifts that you all experienced today, the new energetic vibrational frequency field that you're in, we now command it, you can all command with me, that it now be applied to absolutely everything in your 3D universe, from your bank account, to your friends, to your family, to your body, to your home, your house, your family, everything in your 3D universe. We just ask it all to be applied for you in all directions of time and space. It's all perfectly integrated in. So your future life will unveil in front of you, will flow in front of you, and you'll walk forwards in this new beingness on the golden path of your highest being of you. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. All right. Well, thank you all for being with us. We're going to come back tomorrow, same place, same time. And please, if you feel open, send me an email and let me know how things go and how you benefited from this. I always love seeing those. And until then, we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great night. Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Michael.
night.
Thank you, Lotus.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
thank you, Michael and Lotus and everybody.
Michael, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Michael and
You're
Lotus.
awesome.
Have a great
Aw,
night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
y'all are awesome. Love
Thank you, Lois and Michael.
Aw, big hugs.
Yay.
5:04 a.m., Jane. Wow, way to go.